And that's a terrible statement for me to make. That's the end of it, because everybody said that I should immediately get the Nobel Peace Award. With that statement, that takes me out of the running, but that's the way it is. The United States is blessed with the strongest and most powerful military in the history of the world. There's no military like our military, not even close. Nobody has our weapons, and it'll be stronger and more powerful than ever before very soon. You know, we just approved the biggest budget in the history, over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion. We have the best ships, the best airplanes, the best submarines, the best technology. But above all, we have America's military. It's the best people. It's all about the people, ultimately. You have to work all of that fancy stuff that we make better than anybody else. The fact is, we do make the best weapons, but if you don't have the right people to operate those weapons, they don't mean much. Despite that, as Commander-in-Chief, I never forget that our ultimate strength does not come from equipment. It comes from the men and women of the rank and file. That's true. It comes from you people, incredible people, good-looking people, too many good-looking people. I don't like good-looking people. I never liked good-looking people, I'll be honest with you. I've never admitted that before. But see, I'm allowed to, you know, we won in the Supreme Court a thing based on merit. You know about that, right? Merit. Everything now in our country is based on merit, and that's why I look at you and I see nothing but merit. It's great to have a country back where we can go by merit now. We don't go by anything else except for talent and work and hard work, and it's such a big win. That was such one of the most important wins, and the will, patriotism, and spirit in your hearts is our single greatest weapon. The strength that you have is unbelievable. That's why as we make a record investment in our military, we've never spent so much, and we've never spent it more wisely, because now we watch it. We spend it properly. I'm also supporting an across-the-board pay raise for every sailor and service member in the United States Armed Forces. Now, if you don't want it, you want to give back to your country, just let us know. We won't give it to you. Is there anybody in that category? But now, all we really have to do is get the Democrats to approve it. But they'll come along. They always do, you know, they always do. And because I heard that the sailors on the George Washington took a hit to your family separation pay, you know what I'm talking about, right? You took a little hit to be here, right? By returning to the port, you returned early for this event. I am delighted to announce that as your sort of boss, I don't feel like your boss, but I guess I am. At least you'll be happy about this one. At my direction, we're going to make sure that you receive the full amount that you were owed for the deployment. And we're not going to deduct anything because you came in to listen to your commander. I'd like to be an admiral. I always wanted to be an admiral, to be honest. Don't tell the other people that I love so much. You know, they sit around the table, they have all those beautiful stars and stripes, but I'll tell you what I love. I always love the admirals. I love those uniforms. And I look at these guys. I don't think I would have done very well if I had to compete with these people. They're too good. But I always felt that the Navy is a very special group of people. And I see it when I see you. I see it over the past 11 months. The spirit of our military has been soaring like never before. You know that. The spirit of our country has been soaring. After years of recruiting shortages, and we had bad ones. It was embarrassing, frankly. During my campaign, before the election, November 5th, after that, it all changed. After we won, it all changed. And now we have waiting lists with record numbers trying to join the U.S. Navy and all of the armed forces. We have literal waiting lists, and I'm pleased to report that 2025 was the Navy's single best recruiting year in many generations. That's pretty good, isn't it? But, you know, think of it. It seems like I've been up here so long, and it seems like I've been doing this for a long time and a half. We had a great first term, but nothing like what's happening now. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. I rebuilt the military in the first term, and then they gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan. But it was really just a tiny speck, but it was the concept of what it was. But we rebuilt the military. And we did so many things in the first term, but we're blowing it away right now. But think of it, just 1 year ago, I was in the middle of a campaign. Can you believe that? It doesn't feel that way. I said, you know, you're right. It's not November 5th yet. We have another week or so to go. I was campaigning 1 year ago. And look at all the things that we've done since this, this unbelievable day, November 5th. That's when it all changed. When we won on November 5th, it all changed. And we went from a country that wasn't respected and a lot of people that had no spirit. That includes joining the police, the fire departments. They didn't want to join. After that, they started joining, and it seems like 10 years ago, not less than a year. Think of it, less than a year ago, I was campaigning. You know, we won the second election by a lot, so we had to just prove it by winning the third by too big to rig, I called it. It was too big to rig. And it was an amazing victory. And thank goodness we won, because we were in big trouble. We were in big, big trouble. But the new recruits, every sailor aboard this ship has answered a sacred call of duty to cross any ocean, fight any battle, and defend America and its allies with unwavering resolve. As you know, the George Washington is the only aircraft carrier on Earth that is permanently stationed overseas. It's permanent. Now, if you'd like to take a trip back to America, let's do it one time. Well, I'll join you. I'd love to join you. You know, when I landed on this, it doesn't feel like a ship. It's solid. This is a solid piece of stuff. These 4.5 acres of power and steel are the front line of American freedom in the Pacific. Every day you're taking risks to keep our country.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, everybody. I am sorry. I don't know what's happening. I streamed this morning to all my platforms fine. Now, for some reason, it's not allowing me to stream to my Kick and my Twitch. It's the weirdest shit. I did nothing but change the title. I go through the same process. That's why I don't understand why it's... I don't get it, yo. I literally don't get it. I don't get it. This makes no sense. It goes, unable to start output. This output configure to use main encoder. Output built-in stream, which is not currently active. What are you talking? Yo, this is crazy, yo. When you go into the settings, it only gives you two options. Yo, I'm telling you, I don't be understanding this shit, yo. You set it up in a way so you don't gotta mess with it, right? Which is what it tells you to do. But then when you try to stream the second time, you gotta mess with the one thing that it tells you not to mess with. Yeah, I don't get it. And then the setting will work now, right? And then later you try to use the same setting and it won't work. It's like the weirdest shit, yo. Look, now I put it back to my hardware encoder, which is where it was to begin with, and it wouldn't work. Now I took it out of hardware encoder, put it back in hardware, and now it's working. Yo, when I say that it be the wildest stuff, I don't even understand what any, like, I don't get how that can even happen. How when you first try to initiate the live, the hardware encoder won't work, right? It won't work. So you put it to the main encoder. That's what it tells you to do. Main encoder won't work. Then you put it back to the hardware encoder where it just told you because it's on hardware encoder, it won't work, then it works. I don't know, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe no matter what platform you at, man. We're on all kinds of platforms over here trying to figure this streaming out, man, because I try to tell you, man, some of this stuff just don't make sense, yo. But you know, we're always positive no matter what. Now we're on Kick. We're trying to look at the stream. Now we're on Kick. We gotta mute that. All right, so now my stream is working over there on Twitch. Now let me go to the Kick home screen. That'll work. Oh, this is crazy. Yo, when I tell you that this is crazy, it doesn't even want to bring me to the home screen. Okay, it looks like we're working. Yeah, it looks like we're streaming on over here on Kick too. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe, no matter what platform you are on, man. We definitely appreciate the support. You know, we definitely appreciate the support, guys. Oh, yeah, hit that like button and definitely share this live out to all your social media platforms. Let me see if I could get a comment up in here to drop, because the way I even got it set up, all the comments are supposed to drop together. So let me see if the chat is working. Let me see. Okay, so it showed up on YouTube. It showed up on Twitch. And it showed up on Kick. Okay. But you know, for some reason, we cannot attach our Rumble chat. So, you know, we're going to drop that in the Rumble chat. We're actually streaming on IG. So we're going to drop that in the IG chat as well. We're dropping that in the IG chat. And we're streaming on Facebook. So we're dropping that same chat on the Facebook comment section as well. So please get in that chat section. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this content. Now that we got all the social media sites popping, we're actually going to start this stream from the beginning. We just don't want the music. We don't want we don't want that music to interrupt with this platform.
Anywhere in the seas, the incredible.
Let's bring this thing back a little bit.
To be an American. This land.
All right, let's get it.
What a group, what a group. All champions. USA. Well, thank you very much. A big hello. This is a special group of patriots, champions, winners. You are winners. Oh, I'd love to have your job. I'd love to have your job. And a very special hello to the greatest sailors anywhere in the seas, the incredible men and women of the United States Navy. Very special people. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Great honor to be here. But I'm thrilled to be here among thousands of proud American patriots aboard the 100,000 tons. That's a lot of tonnage. Forward deployed symbol of American might, power, and prestige, the legendary USS George Washington. This is some ship. They don't make them this way anymore, but we're not supposed to say that, but they really don't. This is great stuff. This is really an incredible GW, they call it GW, right? And we've come this afternoon to celebrate the strength and the skill and service of everyone on this ship. So we're going to all relax. We're going to have a good time. We're not going anywhere, you know. If you go back to Washington, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. But I want to just tell you that you are special people, and we're going to have a little fun. And I'm going to tell you how great our country is and how well we're doing, because a year and a half ago, we had a different country than we do right now. Now we're the most respected country in the world. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And it hasn't taken too long, but I had no doubt. I just didn't know we were going to do it this fast. We've done it fast because of people like you. So I want to thank you very much. And I want to recognize a man that you all know well. And he's a tough cookie. He was formerly our Secretary of Defense, but now he is proudly known as our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And, you know, I don't say this. He gave up a hell of a job. They were going to pay him millions of dollars. They didn't want him to leave. That crazy fox, they didn't want him to leave. But he wanted, you know, every time I'd go on that show, all he wanted to talk about is the military. And I said, you know, if I ever do this, I'm going to bring this guy along with me. He knew more about it than anybody. He didn't want to be doing the other stuff. And he had a chance. He could have made so much money, he wouldn't have known. He didn't want that. This is what you wanted, Pete. He's so happy now. Those drug ships aren't coming in anymore. We can't find a ship. There's no ships coming in with drugs, you know. It's like he's been incredible. So thank you very much, Pete. You gave up a lot. We appreciate it. Thank you. And unlike past administrations, we will not be politically correct. You don't mind that, do you? When it comes to defending the United States, we're no longer politically correct. We're going to defend our country any way we have to, and that's usually not the politically correct way. From now on, if we're in a war, we're going to win the war. We're going to win it like nobody ever before. You know, we'd go in, we'd blast the hell out of countries. Shouldn't have gone in. By the way, if you don't go in, that's even better. We don't have to go in, peace through strength. But, you know, we'd go in, we'd win, and then we'd leave. They used to say, to the victor belong the spoils. Well, we'd be the victor, then we'd leave, because we had people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. But we're also very honored to be joined by hundreds of our incredible Japanese partners, and they are incredible. Thank you very much. This woman, that's right. This woman is a winner. So, you know, we've become very close friends all of a sudden because their stock market today and our stock market today hit an all-time high. That means we're doing something right. But the cherished alliance between the United States and Japan is one of the most remarkable relationships in the entire world. Really, there's never been anything like it. Born out of the ashes of a terrible war, our bond has grown over 8 decades into the beautiful friendship that we have. It's a foundation of peace and security in the Pacific. You see it? So on behalf of all American sailors stationed in this beautiful country, let's hear it for our allies and the Japanese self-defense forces and all of the Japanese people that we love and respect. And I have such respect for Japan and the country. And now I have a really great respect for the new and incredible Prime Minister. And I have to say this, the first female Prime Minister in the history of Japan. Madam Prime Minister, please say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you all. 通訳。本日、米国の海軍創設250周年という記念すべき節目に、トランプ大統領とともに地域の自由と平和を守る象徴である空母ジョージ・ワシントンで挨拶するチャンスをいただいたこと、心から光栄に思います。
This year marks the U.S. Navy's semi-quincentennial anniversary. As we celebrate the important milestone, I'm truly honored to have this opportunity to deliver remarks with President Trump aboard the aircraft carrier USS George Washington, a symbol of protecting freedom and peace in this region.
でまず何よりも日夜、我が国と地域の平和と安全のために尽力してくださっている自衛隊員、そして在日米軍の、軍隊の皆さん、軍人の皆様に心から敬意と感謝を捧げます。
First and foremost, I would like to express my deep respect and sincere gratitude to all the men and women in uniform from Japan's Self-Defense Forces and the U.S. Forces Japan for your dedication and commitment to safeguard peace and security of our nation and the region day and night.
で6年前に、ありがとう、Thank you. で6年前、この横須賀の地で、トランプ大統領と、亡くなった安倍晋三、総理が、日米が共に手を取り合って、この地域の平和と安全を確保していくという決意を示しました。
6 years ago, at this same place here in Yokosuka City, the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and President Trump stood side by side and demonstrated their resolve that Japan and the United States would join hands to ensure peace and security in this region.
今ここに再び日米の最高指揮官が並び立ったこの機会に、私はその決意を引き継ぎ、インド太平洋を自由で開かれたものとし、そして地域の平和と繁栄の礎とする決意を新たにしました。
Now, as the two commanders-in-chief of Japan and the United States stand together once again, I have renewed my determination to carry forward that resolve and to make the Indo-Pacific free and open so that it will serve as the foundation of peace and prosperity for the entire region.
今、我々はかつてないほど厳しい安全保障環境に直面しています。平和は言葉だけではなく、確固たる決意と行動によってこそ守られます。
Now we are facing an unprecedented severe security environment. Peace cannot be preserved by words alone. It can be protected only when there is an unwavering determination and action.
あちらに見える最上とマヤを含む自衛官とこのジョージ・ワシントンは数多くの訓練を重ねてきました。でまた横須賀にいる多くの、補給整備に携わっている、日米関係者の皆様、そして地域社会との絆が、米国海軍の活動を長年にわたって支えてきました。こうした幾層にもわたる日米の協力が日米の抑止力対処力を確かなものとしております。
From where we stand, we can see Maritime Self-Defense Forces Mogami and Maya, vessels of Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force and USS George Washington have conducted numerous joint exercises. Just as importantly, there are so many Japanese and American personnel working for logistics and maintenance here in Yokosuka. And there's also a strong sense of bond with the local community here. Those are what have been supporting the activities of US Navy over the years. There's no doubt that such multi-layered Japan-US cooperation is what makes it possible for us to ensure the credibility of our two nations' deterrence and response capabilities.
私は決意しています。今後、日本の防衛力を抜本的に強化して、この地域の平和と安定により一層積極的に貢献していきます。
So let me reiterate my unwavering determination here. Japan is committed to fundamentally reinforce its defense capabilities, and Japan is ready to contribute even more proactively to peace and stability of the region.
そのことにより、トランプ大統領とともに世界で最も偉大な同盟になった日米同盟をさらなる高みに引き上げてまいります。
Through these efforts, together with President Trump, I am determined to elevate the Japan-US alliance, which has already become the greatest alliance in the world, to even greater heights.
日米は共に帆を掲げ、自由で開かれた海を進みます。この横須賀から紡がれる航路は、日米の絆を輝く未来へと導くことを確信しています。
Japan and the United States will advance together with our sails raised high across a free and open sea. And I am very confident that the sea route from Yokosuka will make our bond even stronger and bring our two nations on the path to a shining future.
Thank you.
We will have a long, good relationship, and we'll have fun doing it. You know, you have to have fun, although sometimes it's never fun. She's tough to negotiate with, I want to tell you. But I'm delighted to report that I've just approved the first batch of missiles. You saw a couple of them coming down with me. I hugged them. We need them. They're the best in the world. Nobody has them like we have them. They all want our missiles. That's the problem. Everybody wants them. But it's the first batch of missiles to be delivered to the Japanese self-defense forces for Japan's F-35s, and they're coming this week, so they're ahead of schedule. So I just want to tell Madam Prime Minister. They've been waiting for those missiles, and we got them here right away as soon as I heard about it. I want to thank former Senator, a great gentleman, by the way. He was so popular, but I took him out, and I made him Secretary of State. I think he was born for it. Marco Rubio, thank you very much, Marco. Where are you, Marco? Great job. Great job. He was born for it. Ambassador George Glass, thank you very much, George. Good job you're doing. Thank you. And many of our outstanding uniform leaders with us today, including the head of the Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral Samuel Paparo. Where is Samuel? Oh, hello. Good, but these are good-looking people. Could make a movie with these guys. They're like Central Cat. Look at this group of people. Commander of the U.S. Forces, Japan, General Stephen Jost. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much. The commander of the 7th, oh, that's a big deal. I think, do you want to switch jobs for 1 week? Only for 1 week, all right. 7th Fleet, big stuff, Vice Admiral Fred Kacher. Fred, thank you very much. That's great. And the commander of Carrier Strike Group 5, Rear Admiral Eric Pappy Andoze. Hello, Pappy. That's great. Good. Thank you very much. And of course, we can't forget about your command triad aboard the George Washington. There's nothing like this one. This is a beauty. And I hear your commanding officer is a big Alabama football fan. You know, I love Alabama. I love Alabama. Captain Timothy Waits, and let me just say, roll tide. You know, I love Alabama. Roll tide. Where's Timothy? Where's Timothy? That was a hell of a game this week. I don't know how the hell you pulled that one out. That was. If you didn't win, I wouldn't have mentioned it. I would have just introduced you. I wouldn't have. But you came back from oblivion. Isn't it nice coming back? You know, coming back is good. Thanks as well to your XO, Captain Patrick Blind. Patrick, where is he, Patrick? Patrick, thank you. Highly respected person. All of these people are the best. Look at them. I mean, you look at them. They could have any job they wanted. They could walk down to Wall Street, make a fortune. They wouldn't do that. They like what they're doing, and nobody does it better, as well as really one of the most important people on the ship. Have you ever heard of Command Master Chief Tony Roberts? Have you ever heard of him? Wherever you are, where's Tony? Thank you. Thank you, Tony. He's a popular guy. And as many of you know, this month we're celebrating a truly momentous anniversary. 250 years of courage and pride, honor and victory by the United States Navy. 250 years. Can you imagine? And 3 weeks ago, Melania and I flew to Naval Station Norfolk. I think many of you probably know that, and witnessed an unforgettable display of pure American dominance at sea. It was incredible to watch. They gave us some. Then I said, slow it down, costs a lot of money. Let's save it. You know, let's relax a little bit. They gave us some great display, from the thunderous roar of the guided missile destroyers, never saw anything like it, to the spectacular sight of nuclear submarines all over the place, to the unstoppable force of another great American aircraft carrier. One thing was clear, that no enemy will ever even dream of threatening America's Navy. There's no Navy even close, not even close. You hear about some of them doing ships, but nobody can do what we do. Nobody has what we have. And we also have the best equipment that rides along in those ships. You see that nobody makes equipment like we do. Nobody makes the ammunition, the weapons, the missiles, the planes, none of it. And if they do, the American sailor stands ready to crush them and sink them and wreck them and blast them into oblivion, right? We have to. And that's a terrible statement for me to make. That's the end of it, because everybody said that I should immediately get the Nobel Peace Award. With that statement, that takes me out of the running, but that's the way it is. United States is blessed with the strongest and most powerful military in the history of the world. There's no military like our military, not even close. Nobody has our weapons, and it'll be stronger and more powerful than ever before very soon. You know, we just approved the biggest budget in the history, over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion. We have the best ships, the best airplanes, the best submarines, the best technology. But above all, we have America's military. It's the best people. It's all about the people, ultimately. You have to work all of that fancy stuff that we make better than anybody else. The fact is, we do make the best weapons, but if you don't have the right people to operate those weapons, they don't mean much. Despite that, as Commander-in-Chief, I never forget that our ultimate strength does not come from equipment. It comes from the men and women of the rank and file. That's true. It comes from you people, incredible people, good-looking people, too many good-looking people. I don't like good-looking people. I never liked good-looking people, I'll be honest with you. I've never admitted that before. But see, I'm allowed to, we won at the Supreme Court a thing based on merit. You know about that, right? Merit. Everything now in our country is based on merit, and that's why I look at you and I see nothing but merit. It's great to have a country back where we can go by merit now. We don't go by anything else except for talent and work and hard work, and it's such a big win. That was such one of the most important wins, and the will, patriotism, and spirit in your hearts is our single greatest weapon. The strength that you have is unbelievable. That's why as we make a record investment in our military, we've never spent so much, and we've never spent it more wisely, because now we watch it. We spend it properly. I'm also supporting an across-the-board pay raise for every sailor and service member in the United States Armed Forces. Now, if you don't want it, you want to give back to your country, just let us know. We won't give it to you. Is there anybody in that category? Huh? But now, all we really have to do is get the Democrats to approve it. But they'll come along. They always do, they always do. And because I heard that the sailors on the George Washington took a hit to your family separation pay, you know what I'm talking about, right? You took a little hit to be here, right? By returning to the port, you returned early for this event. I am delighted to announce that as your sort of boss, I don't feel like your boss, but I guess I am. At least you'll be happy about this one. At my direction, we're going to make sure that you receive the full amount that you were owed for the deployment. And we're not going to deduct anything because you came in to listen to your commander. I'd like to be an admiral. I always wanted to be an admiral, to be honest. Don't tell the other people that I love so much. They sit around the table, they have all those beautiful stars and stripes, but I'll tell you what I love. I will always love the admirals. I love those uniforms. And I look at these guys. I don't think I would have done very well if I had to compete with these people. They're too good. But I always felt that the Navy is a very special group of people. And I see it when I see you. I see it over the past 11 months. The spirit of our military has been soaring like never before. You know that. The spirit of our country has been soaring. After years of recruiting shortages, and we had bad ones. It was embarrassing, frankly. During my campaign, before the election, November 5th, after that, it all changed. After we won, it all changed. And now we have waiting lists with record numbers trying to join the U.S. Navy and all of the armed forces. We have literal waiting lists, and I'm pleased to report that 2025 was the Navy's single best recruiting year in many generations. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. No matter what platform you're on, we're actually streaming to 6 platforms right now. We're streaming to Kick, Twitch, and Rumble in horizontal, and we're streaming to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube in vertical. So please hit that follow button or hit that subscribe button no matter what platform you're on. Please get in that chat section. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this content.
But, think of it. It seems like I've been up here so long, and it seems like I've been doing this for a long time and a half. We had a great first term, but nothing like what's happening now. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. I rebuilt the military in the first term, and then they gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan. But it was really just a tiny speck, but it was the concept of what it was. But we rebuilt the military, and we did so many things in the first term, but we're blowing it away right now. But think of it, just 1 year ago, I was in the middle of a campaign. Can you believe that? It doesn't feel that way. I said, you know, you're right. It's not November 5th yet. We have another week or so to go. I was campaigning 1 year ago. And look at all the things that we've done since this unbelievable day, November 5th. That's when it all changed. When we won on November 5th, it all changed, and we went from a country that wasn't respected and a lot of people that had no spirit. That includes joining the police, the fire departments. They didn't want to join. After that, they started joining, and it seems like 10 years ago, not less than a year. Think of it, less than a year ago, I was campaigning. You know, we won the second election by a lot, so we had to just prove it by winning the third by too big to rig, I called it. It was too big to rig. And it was an amazing victory. And thank goodness we won, because we were in big trouble. We were in big, big trouble. But the new recruits, every sailor aboard this ship has answered a sacred call of duty to cross any ocean, fight any battle, and defend America and its allies with unwavering resolve. As you know, the George Washington is the only aircraft carrier on Earth that is permanently stationed overseas. It's permanent. Now, if you'd like to take a trip back to America, let's do it one time. Well, I'll join you. I'd love to join you. You know, when I landed on this, it doesn't feel like a ship. It's solid. This is a solid piece of stuff. These 4.5 acres of power and steel are the front line of American freedom in the Pacific. Every day you're taking risks to keep our country safe and to defend peace and security in this incredible part of the world, working with Japan, working with other nations. I just left Malaysia. We stopped a big war with, you know that, we stopped 8 wars. Can you imagine? In 8 months, I stopped 8 wars. Like, I stopped a war a month. Think of that. That's pretty good. But I just left Malaysia. Thank them, because they helped us very much with one of them, and actually for even a second. They're great people, and they send their regards. I spent a day there with the Prime Minister, and we had a good time. But you carry out your mission bravely. You carry it out brilliantly. And on behalf of all Americans, I just want to say, and I came over to say it loud and clear, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Incredible people. You are incredible people. They actually have the best location, because if they're really good looking, they end up in Hollywood. You know, you're not going to, you have a great look, but you're not going to end in Hollywood. They can just see the back of your head, all the media. Look at all the fake news back there. But 2 years ago, Naval Air Crewman 3rd Class James McCall was just a few months into his first fleet tour with the Golden Falcons helicopter squadron when he and his crew were called on a search and rescue mission to find 3 missing Navy divers. Incredible, brave guys, the divers. But they were stranded at sea and right off the Japanese coast. They were exhausted and assuming they were going to die. They assumed they were going to die. But with unbelievable focus and skill, crewman McCall was able to find and help rescue all 3 divers in the water below, saving his fellow sailors. And James is with us today as a shipmate on this carrier. Crewman McCall, thank you very much for your incredible bravery, and we salute you. Where is James? Where are you, James? Whoa. Come up, James. Get up here, James. Come up here. Look at this guy. He's a good-looking guy. Get out of here, James. I don't want you up here. No, come here, James.
Nice to meet you.
You want to say something? Come on.
I just want to say I appreciate all my fellow shipmates. What I did back then in Iwakuni, it was heartbreaking for losing those loved ones down there, but we brought some back whenever we went down there. and just God bless America and all my fellow shipmates. Appreciate it. And stay a bad Larry.
I was wondering, maybe he almost stayed up. He could have been up here for a while. You did that very well. He's going to be running for office next week. You watch. Great job, James. A lot of bravery, too. But as James' story reminds us, the Navy is a family and a team, and each of you has a vital role to play. Gathered here this afternoon are some of those whose toil and sweat gets our magnificent planes in the air and brings them safely back home. And we have the shooters and the gear dogs and the paddles and the white shirts and, of course, the blue shirts, the yellow shirts, the red shirts on the flight deck. And all over the hangar bay, I want to thank you all. You're incredible people. I saw some of you there. We're rushing to get down here, and they want to take pictures up there, you know. They're very aggressive people. Sir, can I have a picture? They're supposed to be standing at attention. Sir, can I have a picture, sir? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right? Very aggressive. But I think they're great. We also have a real genius and these people are incredible, who maintain the largest and most complex machine ever built, are amazing mechanics and engineers on the incredible. And I asked your captain, you know, I'm building aircraft, I'm building a lot of things, but I said, Captain, you got to tell me something. I know a lot about these ships. I know a lot about these things building. I want to know catapults. Which is better, the electric or the steam? Okay, ready? You guys, that's what you do, right? This is so much better. You know, they go out, hire a consultant for millions of dollars that was never on an aircraft carrier before. So they switched to electric. I disagree with it, but it's all right. Let me ask you. We're going to go steam first and then electric. Catapults. Which is better? Electric or steam? I'm going to put it in order. Seriously. They're spending billions of dollars to build stupid electric. And the problem, when it breaks, you have to send up to MIT, get the most brilliant people in the world, fly them out. It's ridiculous. The steam, they said they can fix it with a hammer and a blowtorch. And it works just as well, if not better. And I love the sight of that beautiful steam pouring off that deck with the electric. You don't have that. So, you know, we did the Ford in electric, the cost overruns, everything else. But, you know, I hope it's going to be okay. But I like steam. We're going to go back to steam. They changed just for the sake of changing. I said to the architect, have you ever designed a ship before? You know, he only did the biggest ship in the world, right, the Ford. But we're going to go back. Okay, now let me ask you the second question. Hydraulic for your elevators or magnets? You know, the new thing is magnets. So instead of using hydraulic, that you can be hit by lightning and it's fine. You take a little glass of water and you drop it on magnets. I don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, the elevators come up in the new carriers. I think I'm going to change it, by the way. They have magnets. Not every tractor has hydraulic. Every excavator, every excavating machine of any kind has hydraulic. But somebody decided to use magnets for your elevator. Maybe they're good. Which is better, hydraulic or magnets? What the hell is wrong with these people? Can I ask you, the top-ranking gentleman right here? Seriously, I'm putting out an order. I'm going to sign an executive order. When we build aircraft carriers, it's steam for the catapults, and it's hydraulic for the elevators. We'll never have a problem, okay? Do you agree? He agrees. Everybody agrees, but these people in Washington. All right. We're going to do that. I'm serious about it. It bothered me so much. I'd see the costs come in. They spend $900. This is not on my watch, so, you know, if it was on my watch, I would be very quiet about it. I wouldn't be talking about it. They spent $993 million on the catapults, trying to get them to work. And they had steam, which works so beautifully, and it has for 50 years, right? So we're going to go back. Seriously, fellas, I want to make that change. I'm going to do an executive order. I'm not going to let them continue to do this stuff. They're trying to make it work. They're trying so hard. and they have something that's perfect. So we're going to go back on that and the magnets. Thank you very much. And of course, we cannot forget the daredevils and the pilots of the famed Carrier Air Wing 5, known as Team Badman. What the hell is that all about? Who are they? They're bad. The elite air units aboard this vessel are storied squadrons like the Royal Maces, the Diamondbacks, the Argonauts, the Chippies, the Titans, the Tiger Tails, the Shadowhawks, and the Saberhawks, all great, brave people. They're all incredible. You're all incredible.
Man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're actually streaming live right now to 6 different platforms. Yeah, you heard me, 6. We're actually streaming to Kick, Twitch, and Rumble in horizontal, which means left and right. And also, we are streaming to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube in vertical. This is something new we're doing. First time we've ever done it. We had to start a whole new YouTube channel, everything. So we're streaming in vertical and horizontal. So if you want to watch us on the phone, that's what the vertical's for. If you want to put us on the TV, go pull up on the Rumble, Kick, and or Twitch. The number over there is 5. The name over there is 5/5. And we are reacting to what Donald Trump's speech was. Get in that chat section. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this content.
People, do you know they say, and I love it. I love aviation. I actually had a brother who was a pilot, and see, Biden used to say he was a pilot. He was a pilot. He was a truck driver. Whoever walked in, he wasn't a pilot. He wasn't much of a president either, to be honest with you. That I can tell you. That we all know. But they say the hardest thing to do is landing a plane on an aircraft carrier. You ever hear that? And great pilots can do everything. They're great pilots, but they can't do that. It's a very special talent. So the people that do that are in this room, you're a very small group of people. Tremendously talented pilots cannot do it for a lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons. A lot of it's right up here. So I have great respect. The hardest thing you can do as a pilot is land. You know that this ship is so big. But when you're up there in the Pacific or the Atlantic and the waves are crashing and it's getting dark, or it is dark, which is even worse, getting dark is better.
And you know what's crazy? That I don't know what happened with America, that for some reason now it is frowned upon to appreciate the people who actually sacrifice their freedoms and actually serve their country. I don't know why people frown upon that so much. Like, I got hella relatives that serve. You get what I mean? That used to be something that people would look forward to in serving. Man, salute to my cousin showing out. I got a cousin on Facebook watching me, and I got a whole other cousin on Instagram watching me. That's what we talk about, man. Share this live out to all your social media platforms. Put this on your Instagram, your Facebook. Put this on everywhere. Get the word out there that, man, we got one of our own. This is a news station by the people, for the people. Because if you haven't noticed, a lot of these news broadcasting stations, they're feeding you lies. Regardless if you agree or disagree. What is good, the real though, out there in Instagram? What's popping, cuz? You out there at work, man, in that tow truck? What's good, my other cousin Sambo? I believe that's you, Sambo, over there watching on Facebook. Man, salute to my family. Man, I used to tell people on YouTube all the time, man, before they tried to, because, you know, we was popping on YouTube, guys. We was getting over 100,000 views over there. That's nothing, though, because we're going to multiply that by 1 million on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. We're streaming on all these platforms in vertical and horizontal at one time, guys. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Get in that chat section. Let me know if you agree or disagree. My guy, The Real, said, I'ma adapt, cuz. You gotta adapt, man. That's what us Puerto Ricans are good for. We adapt and we excel. We don't only adapt and survive. We adapt and we excel. We just gotta get out of this negative shit. That's why I don't talk to a whole bunch of people no more, relative or not, because people get 2 words confused. People get relative and family confused. Just because we got the same blood don't mean we family. That means we're related. That's why you could meet someone and they be more love and have more love for you than your own bloodline. That's what you tell your daughter and your son. When you grow up, go get a spouse and create a family. That means family has nothing to do with blood. Blood means related. We're related. Man, my guy, real said facts over there on Instagram. My guy Sambo, my other cousin, said much love, cuz. Truth, tell the truth, man. That's what we here for, man. We a news station by the people, for the people. You get what I mean? I'm figuring out how to get my content on Spotify as a podcast. Because the way I like to do my content, I try not to swear, right? So how I used to have it was people would be at work and they would just press play. Because I react to a lot of the news. Donald Trump's speech. A lot of politicians. So I don't swear on a lot of my content. And I do go live in the morning and I go live at evenings. So when people are at work in the morning, they just tune me in and push play and they let it go like a radio station. That's why I don't curse. You know, because you don't never know who's watching. Some people might have me on in the office, so I don't swear on my or I try not to. You know what I mean? But I always try to stay informed and keep up the great information because we got to adapt. Because if we don't share the truth, we're never going to know the truth. How many of you guys knew that 13 times in a row, these Democrats voted no, that they wanted the shutdown? How many of you guys, check this out. I'm going to give you a little bit of audio from a different box. Let me see. For those of you watching on horizontal, I want you to look at this box. For those of you who watching on the on your phones, look at this box right here over my shoulder. Let me move myself over a little bit. We're going to stream on this box. And listen, that's where the audio is going to come from. Listen to what he about to say. Check this out.
Just a month into this, and we wanted to highlight a couple of things and a few members this morning. There are some very important developments. But before we get to all that, one of the things that we wanted to note is that really it's painfully obvious to everyone the true motivation of the Democrats' historic obstruction has now become very clear for everyone. I want to use a little simple, Lily, if you show me this real quick. Just real quick, simple facts, because these things get obscured too much. But there are simple facts about the Democrat shutdown that everybody needs to recognize. Here's 4 of them. First of all, we have to have Democrats to reopen the government. You know that in the Senate, it requires 60 votes to break an impasse. Wait, hang it on, Lily, hold it real here. Keep it close to the podium. I want everybody to see this, okay? We're gonna make it simple. I had my 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you gotta have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it.
So that point is so important. They only have 53. So every single time that these Democratic news stations, these fake news try to tell you that the Republicans are the ones that did this, they're in control. They're liars. They're liars. They need minimum 5 Democrats to agree with them for the Republicans to do anything. So the moment you start lying to me, I question everything you got to say from there forward. I don't care what I believe. I don't care what I believe. I could believe whatever I want. But the moment you start lying, I got to question everything you say now. That was a lie. You're telling us that the Republicans did this on their own, that they wanted to, where you're lying. The Republicans don't have the numbers. They can't do nothing on their own. That's all a lie.
The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed.
There's your answer, Sambo. My guy Sambo said 13 times Democrat voted against opening the government. Did you hear what he just said? Because remember, we got a little delay because I'm streaming this from my MacBook Pro to OBS to all these platforms. We got 6 different platforms we're streaming to. But you just heard him. 13 times the Democrats voted. We're going to play that back one more time like a DJ. We're going to run that back like it's a football play. This is the highlights. We're running that back. Check it out. I did the stream on this video this morning. That's why now. And I was thinking about doing another live tomorrow morning on the same video. Check it out.
My 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you got to have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. And what they're demanding as a ransom to reopen the government are some really crazy things. They want to restore $200 billion in health benefits paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens and non-citizens. We can't do that. They want billions of dollars in wasteful programs to be.
So my question is, one of my initial questions is, why would you want us to spend money on people that aren't even Americans? Never mind for the reason, if we are in debt, as you can see on your phones what I'm moving, that's the U.S. National Debt Clock. That's the actual U.S. National Debt Clock website. For those of you watching on your phone, this is the National Debt Clock. For those of you watching on your TVs, this is your National Debt Clock. That is not a loop video. That is the website in real time. That's what that is. That is the website. These are all, except for the little box all the way at the top. That's my setup to show you all the monitors and how we're taking this streaming stuff serious, that we're not just somebody with a phone just talking crazy into a phone. That box all the way at the top on your phones, or if you're watching on your TVs, this box right here, because the layouts are different. From the vertical to the horizontals, two different layouts. But as you can see with that box all the way at the top, that's how the setup looks. Like we're a straight media company. That's what we're doing. You get what I'm saying? And we're giving information for us, by us. My guy Sambo said exactly. They don't want to tell us this. Why nobody making you aware that they voted no? Do you guys know? Check this out. This is facts. This is facts, right? When the fake news was out there telling you that Donald Trump was trying to ruin the American economy, do you know that he was trying to put in place a law where they removed all taxes from every household that made under $1 million a year? So that means if you, your wife, and your kids in totality made under $1 million in 1 year, from hours 0 to 40, you paid 0 taxes. And anything over 40 hours, you pay the minimum amount of taxes removed. Every single Democrat didn't even vote on that. They didn't even vote. They voted no, or they didn't vote at all. So that's how the no tax on tips came around. Because Donald Trump spun the block and was like, please, if you love the people like you say, do something for, at least take the taxes out of the people that work for tips. Because they already tried to take the taxes out of people who work 0 to 40 hours, and the Democrats said no. So now let's actually talk about what because you know we come from a background of actions speak louder than words. All right, so let's talk about it. The Democrats want you to hate Donald Trump for everything possible. If it's raining tomorrow, Donald Trump's fault. You're having a bad hair day, Donald Trump's fault. You're getting laid off, Donald Trump's fault. If you're getting a raise, not Donald Trump's fault. If anything is happening, if you're getting a divorce, Donald Trump's fault. Everything you want to hate, you want us to hate Donald Trump because of his hairdo. Copy. We hate this dude. No taking. No taking. Got the note, got the pen. You know what I mean? No taking. We hate this guy. Copy. All right. What you trying to do for us? What are you doing for us, Democrats? Because everything we see is you want us to spend money in Africa, spend money in Russia, spend money in Israel, spend money in Ukraine, spend money in Turkey, spend money in Japan, spend money everywhere outside of America, but never in America. What are you doing for us? Okay, copy. We hate this dude. Copy. We understand everything you're talking about. Okay. But what are you doing for us? Because everything you talking sounds like a tax hike. What do I mean? Easy. What they told you. Oh, they don't like that Elon Musk bought the presidency for Trump, right? So what they trying to do, they want to move to publicly funded elections. What's that mean? That means you want the public to pay for elections. Sounds like a tax increase. You want free health care. Is it free? Is it really free? Or do you want the taxpayers to pay for? Sounds like another tax increase. You want free education, right? And I would love free education. Who's paying the teachers? Imagine, what if you're the teacher that's going to teach the future brain surgeons? Who's paying you? See how none of that works? That what you're talking about is higher tax rates. You want to tax us more. So you know what the word op means, right? Total opposition, the total opposite. So if Democrats want a tax hike, it's the opposite of a tax hike. Trump is trying to remove taxes. So by definition, they're living out the word op. Donald Trump told you that America first achieved her wealth by tariffing other nations, not by taxing its citizens. America didn't used to tax our citizens. When we first achieved our wealth, that actually came from tariffing other nations, not taxing our citizens. That came hella years later. But this is not the stuff that they want to tell you. They don't want to talk to you about that. But we're going to play a little bit more of this, but before we get into this speech that he had, get in that chat section. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this content. And hit that share button. There's an arrow on your screens. Hit that arrow and share this out to all your social media platforms. Get the word out, man. This is a news station by the people, for the people. Keeping it all the way real. Regardless if we right or wrong, what we want to know is the truth. That's what we here for, to share the truth and get to the truth and get to the bottom of it so we can raise to the top of it. And comprehend it, to understand it, to overstand it, to never understand. You know what I mean? Let's get in that chat section, man.
Return to foreign countries for things that none of you would agree with. We're not going to do that. They want $500 million to go back to left-leaning news organizations, paid for by taxpayers. We can't do that. And then they want to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund that Republicans got signed into law July 4th to prop up.
They want to cut funding to a rural hospital fund. But they told you that the Republicans are trying to cut all Medicare. Imagine that. Imagine all that. You know what this means, right? You know, this means that these people do not respect your intelligence. They do not respect your wisdom, to the point that they feel like they can tell you whatever they want. They can play in your face and you ain't gonna do nothing. You never gonna hold them accountable for lying to your grown-ass adult face. When are you gonna tell these people, yo, bro, why you capping? You said that he was trying to ruin the American economy when he was just trying to take the taxes out of my paycheck. Copy, you want me to hate Donald Trump. All right, I hate his hairdo. I hate his voice. We hate all of that. But now let's get aside that, and now let's talk facts. Let's talk actions. Action, the person you want me to hate, try to stop taking taxes out of my paycheck. Why do I want to hate somebody that wants more money in my pocket? Riddle me that. Why would I hate somebody that wants to put more money in my pocket? Lower taxes. Stop spending money outside of America, and that same money, spend it in America. Why do you want me to hate someone like that so bad? That's my question. Why do you want? Because according to what you've been doing is this. You've been spending all this money outside of America. How'd that benefit us?
Healthcare in red states and rural areas around the country. It's too important, but they want to take that away. They know that we can't do it. And now that they've begun to admit what this is all about. Thanks, Lee. Put it on the thing there. They're admitting what they're up to. Chuck Schumer said every day of the shutdown gets better for us, meaning the Democrat Party. And you know, we had the second-ranked Democrat in the House, the minority whip, who just said a few days ago, the end of last week, that we know that this is causing great pain for the American people, but we have to use this leverage. We don't have many times where we have leverage like this. And so they've shown you what the real motivation is. But ultimately, why are they?
Do you understand what the leverage is? The leverage is having the government shut down and the American people dealing with what they want. Remember what I said to you guys before? These politicians, they cry broke. They cry that when they grew up, they were broke, that their parents were broke, that their grandparents were broke, right? Well, peep the fly shit. They're wealthy. All these politicians are multimillionaires, but they told you they come from a broke household. Well, how did you become a multimillionaire? What's going on here? How is putting the government in a shutdown an advantage that you need to use against the Republican people? How much sense does that even make, to use this as leverage that they've never had? Because a lot of people forget that the Democrats had the House, they had everything when they made these bills up. Let's get back into this. Let's gonna play a little bit more before we get back into the Trump content.
Doing all that. Let me summarize this really quickly, as simply as I can, for the civic students back home. Republicans are not demanding anything, literally nothing. All we want is to reopen the government. The Democrats are demanding all those things I just showed you on the chart, plus a lot more. When I say they want to send money to foreign countries, this is some of the things that they would propose.
So what he's telling you is that Republicans are not demanding nothing. The Democrats are the ones making all the demands. Spend money on this. Spend money outside of America here. Spend money outside of America there. Spend money outside of America over there. Spend money outside of America. Everything is outside of America. Or spend money on the dumbest shit possible. They want America to spend a certain amount of money. I think it's $1.5 trillion on trans awareness worldwide. Why do we have to spend $1.5 trillion on sexual orientation and sexual preference when it comes to gender or any activities? Why? How does that benefit America? When we can spend that 1.5 trillion on the American infrastructure, how does that not even make sense to anybody? Let's get in that chat section. Let me know, do you agree or disagree?
That we spend money on again. They're demanding, this is a ransom to reopen the government. Things like $4 million for global LGBTQI plus awareness campaigns around the world.
You heard what he said, right? To give money to gain LGBTQ awareness around the world, not across America. You know how much money that is? To go make people aware in Russia, Ukraine, all the countries, Iraq, Pakistan, everywhere. You know how much money that is? Like my guy Sambo said over here in the chat on Facebook. He said, stop giving our money to other countries, but the our you mean is O-U-R, not A-R-E. Our money is O-U-R, our money, us, our money. Why are you spending the American tax dollars on issues outside of America? If it's American tax dollars, why isn't that being spent right here in America? Why don't nobody care about the tar that we drive on? I remember a couple years ago in my Beamer leaving New York City, leaving Flight Club. I'm leaving Flight Club in New York City. We talk about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Hit a wild ass pothole on the highway. Not on the street, on the, I caught a flat tire. That shit popped my tire, and I wasn't even going that fast. I had just got on the highway, leaving Flight Club in New York, coming back to CT. Got on the highway, wasn't even on the highway, 30 seconds, hit a wild pothole that I didn't see because I was about to switch lanes. Hit that shit, flat tire. I'm not the only one that's happened to. Why don't people care about fixing the infrastructure? How about this? That $1.5 trillion that you want to spend on awareness on the LGBTQ worldwide, why don't you spend that $1.5 trillion and put it in the American education system? How about this? Why don't you teach our kids in the public education system something that it doesn't matter who you are, you got to do what they don't. I don't know about you guys, but in New Britain High, they don't teach you how to do taxes. And E.C. Goodwin, they don't teach you taxes, guys. When I went to school, was taxes even talked about when you guys? But what happened when you graduated school? You got a job. What's the first thing you started doing? Paying taxes. Why don't they teach our kids how to do taxes? Isn't that like one of the most important things? How to do your taxes? Why isn't nobody talking about these things? Our money is correct. OUR. That's a fact, Sambo. I will never lead you wrong. Why is our money being spent outside of the country? Riddle me that.
Republicans are not demanding anything, literally nothing. All we want is to reopen the government. The Democrats are demanding all those things I just showed you on the chart, plus a lot more. When I say they want to send money to foreign countries, this is some of the things that they would propose that we spend money on again. They're demanding, this is a ransom to reopen the government. Things like $4 million for global LGBTQI plus awareness campaigns around the world. $4 million for the LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Balkans. They want $2 million for feminist democratic principles projects in Africa.
That's $10 million. 4, 4, and 2. Just those three things is $10 million. Those $10 million can help America. Think about that's just those three. That's 10 million right there. Riddle me that. How is any of these three things helping America? That's what I don't understand. Why nobody talking about that?
Is to reopen the government. The Democrats are demanding all those things I just showed you on the chart, plus a lot more. When I say they want to send money to foreign countries, this is some of the things that they would propose that we spend money on again. They're demanding, this is a ransom to reopen the government. Things like $4 million for global LGBTQI plus awareness campaigns around the world. $4 million for the LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Balkans. They want $2 million for feminist democratic principles projects in Africa. We're not doing that. But again, the question is why? Why? This sounds crazy. It is. Why would they do this? And what we saw on vivid display over the weekend was the re-emphasis of this fact. This is motivated purely out of fear. And what do we mean by that? You saw the Democratic leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, endorse Zoran Mamdani for mayor of New York City on Friday. It was an illustration of what we're facing here. The Democrats right now fear the far left activists more than they fear air traffic controllers, border patrol agents, American service members, and so many others missing their paychecks. They fear the Marxist insurgents like Mamdani more than they fear families and children going hungry from lapsed benefits that keep food on their tables. They simply fear losing their own political positions next November if they don't appease the angry far left base right now. And they will appease that base at any cost, no matter how much pain's inflicted. In fact, they've said in their own words, this gets better for us day by day. How does it get better? Because they're proving to the angry far left base in their party that they will prioritize them over the American people. And simply put, it's the profound fear in the Democratic Party that drives this shutdown. It is not principle, it is not policy, it is certainly not concern for the constituents that they say that they want to represent. We know that because even their own constituents now are begging Democrats to stop the political games and reopen the government. Just yesterday, the largest union of federal workers, the very people that the Democrats claim that they fight for, came out publicly and urged the Democrats to join the Republicans in passing the House's very simple short-term funding bill. Also, yesterday, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association began to put up flyers in airports to explain the real danger that is being imposed for air travel, air safety in this country, highlighting what the Democrats are doing.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We will actually get back to that. We will get back to that. I just want to finish this Trump speech.
But when you're up there, they say it looks like a little needle in the ocean. It's just a very little, thing, and you're landing on top. So I have great respect when I see them land. 3 weeks ago they were landing and doing it beautifully. They had they're very, very talented people, and nobody embodies skill and nerve and swagger and the attitude like a U.S. naval aviator. So I have great respect for you all. Thank you very much. It's one of the reasons I'm here. That's why I'm here, not someone else. I didn't need this. I didn't need the whole damn job. I could have had I had such a beautiful life. But you know what? We're making America greater than ever before, and that's why I'm doing it. And we are doing numbers that nobody's ever seen, nobody ever even thought possible before. Think of it. A year ago, we were a dead country. We were like a dead country, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody even close. It's pretty amazing, I'll tell you. None of it.
We're going to play this one time for the hottest country in the world. I don't know what I want to play. What if I play
Next year, communist will find out. No more fake news selling lies now. 2024, CNN stands for grind now. No more fake news selling lies now. CNN stands for Biden took office network. I'm the president to leave me that I was better than my successor. Office, oh boy, they rap first. I guess the means that I tried to kick me out the White House. Next year, that's my house. They tried to kick me out.
that like button, hit that subscribe. I had to play that one time, man. I'm sorry. It's that I'm streaming on vertical and horizontal, so I gotta play them for both at the same time for both different platforms. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, man. Get in that chat section. Let me know what you think about this content. Let me know, did you know that the Democrats voted 13 times to keep the country shut down?
It would be possible. All of these things that we're doing, all of the respect that we have, it's really because of people like yourself and the armed forces generally. It's amazing the job that you all do. None of it would have been possible. And all of those important missions in the Navy, the devoted members of the Food Service Division serving up to 14,000 meals every single day. How's the food? Good? They say it's good. Is it good? I hope it's good. Probably my kind of food. I like that kind of food. But they don't get the credit they deserve. I want to just thank them very much and congratulate. 14,000 meals. Let's also hear it for all the sailors holding the American flag high at Seafay, as well as the crews from the ferocious Desron 15. Desron 15. But together, the sailors here today give your very best to our nation, and as your commander-in-chief, I'm fighting every single day to ensure that we give you our very best also. We do. We're giving you everything. We're giving you more than anybody's ever given. We're bringing it up to a standard that nobody's ever seen before. We're starting to make ships also. Part of our deal with the trade is we're starting to make ships. We used to be #1 at making ships, and then we lost our way. But now we're starting to make ships again, and we'll do it very soon. It's not going to take that long, but it's a process. It's not like making a bullet. It's not like it's a big, long process. We've got it going, though, I think, in the right direction. I think within a short period of time, the Philadelphia yards, as an example, is now owned by a group that's going to be making a lot of ships, a good group of people. And we're going to be working also with Japan on making ships. We're going to make a lot of ships again. We used to think of it, we were #1. And then over the years, they just lost their way. They started making other things. They stopped making ships. So we're going to be making ships again. We've more than, think of this, $17 trillion, trillion with a T, pouring into the United States of America from all over the world. And that's the biggest number in the history of any country. And by the time, and this is in 8 months, really. We're here 9, but this is in 8 months. over $17 trillion. As an example, the last administration did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We did more than 17 trillion in 8 months. And I think by the time we finish up our first year, we're going to be over 20 or $21 trillion of money coming into our country. And I want to thank Japan, because Japan is making big investments into the United States, and they're very happy because the stock market's gone up very nicely. We've made Japan a lot of money. That's okay. But they're a big investor in our country, and we like that. But think of those numbers. We weren't doing it anywhere near. We were laughed at, and now they're all saying they've never seen anything like what's happened in such a short period of time. And I was just told by the Prime Minister that Toyota is going to be putting auto plants all over the United States to the tune of over $10 billion. So that's Toyota. So go out and buy a Toyota.
So you're telling me that's not helping America achieve her? Toyota just invested over $10 billion with all of these plants that's coming to America. What?
Japan, a lot of money. That's okay. But they're a big investor in our country, and we like that. But think of those numbers. We weren't doing it anywhere near. We were laughed at, and now they're all saying they've never seen anything like what's happened in such a short period of time. And I was just told by the Prime Minister that Toyota is going to be putting auto plants all over the United States to the tune of over $10 billion. So that's Toyota. So go out and buy a Toyota. And that's a lot to do with, because right now we have all the AI plants. We have so many things happening in the United States. And it's because of November 5th, Election Day, but it's also because of tariffs. The tariffs have been so good. We're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. I heard them before I came up. I heard you're all on television now. They're talking to all the networks. Everybody's covering it. Look at these characters back. Look at all of them. And and they were talking about the tariffs. The tariffs have, nobody understood tariffs like I understood tariffs. And the tariffs are having people go into our country and spend tremendous numbers like we've never seen. And that brings jobs with it. It brings jobs. It brings importance. It brings everything. It brings a strong military. It brings a lot of things to other countries. I mean, if you look at some of the deals that we did, if India was going to go to war with Pakistan, and as you go to war, we're not going to do anything.
I think I missed it. Writing it down. Hold on.
And we were laughed at, and now they're all saying they've never seen anything like what's happened in such a short period of time. And I was just told by the Prime Minister that Toyota is going to be putting auto plants all over the United States to the tune of over $10 billion. So
you know what that means, right? That's $10 billion. Do you know how many jobs that is that there wasn't there before? Now, on top of that, remember what I told you. Donald Trump made it so you could write off part of your auto loans as long as the car's made in America. So whenever these cars start being produced, you could write them off on taxes. Yeah, this is something new that Donald Trump put in place that they don't want to talk to you about. Donald Trump made it so you could write off American car loans. Get in that chat section. Hit that like button right now for one time for Donald Trump making it so you could write off car loans. Or hit that thumbs up or that heart on your screen.
that's Toyota. So go out and buy a Toyota. And that's a lot to do with, because right now we have all the AI plants. We have so many things happening in the United States. And it's because of November 5th, Election Day, but it's also because of tariffs. The tariffs have been so good. We're taking in trillions and trillions of dollars. I heard them before I came up. I heard you're all on television now. They're talking to all the networks. Everybody's covering it. Look at these characters back. Look at all of them. And and they were talking about the tariffs. The tariffs have, nobody understood tariffs like I understood tariffs. And the tariffs are having people go into our country and spend tremendous numbers like we've never seen. And that brings jobs with it. It brings jobs. It brings importance. It brings everything. It brings a strong military. It brings a lot of things to other countries. I mean, if you look at some of the deals that we did, if India was going to go to war with Pakistan, and as you go to war, we're not going to do any trade was going to put big tariffs on both countries, and they said, well, I guess we're not going to go to war. 2 nuclear powers, we stopped it, but we stopped a lot of wars, tariffs. Without tariffs, we wouldn't have national security like we have it. We've never had national security like we have it right now. And literally a year ago, you had very little national security. You had people that didn't have a clue. American strength is roaring back like never before, and with your help, America is respected once more, and it is respected at levels that we haven't seen before. On my first day back in the White House, I deployed the men and women of the United States military to stop the invasion on our southern border, right? It was an invasion, losing hundreds of thousands of people to fentanyl and to drugs, and now we have the most secure border in American history. For 5 months, they said no people came into our country illegally. They came in through a legal process, but nobody came in through the southern border. Can you imagine? Even I can't, it's hard to believe that, because, and we do have it tight as a drum, but that's what we have to have. If you don't have borders, if you don't have a fair media, if you know, you need certain things. You need a good, fair media. They're getting better.
Man, salute to everybody watching over there on Twitch. Salute to everybody watching over there on Kick. Salute to everybody watching on Rumble. Man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Let me see how this Rumble feed. Salute to everybody. Okay, it is clear. Hit that like button over there on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube, because we are actually streaming to 6 platforms simultaneously. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube is in vertical, and Kick, Twitch, and Rumble's in horizontal. I might start an X account. I got an X account, but I might start streaming live on X as well. We might pull X in on the platform streaming as well. But please get in that chat section. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this content. And please hit that follow or hit that subscribe button no matter what platform you're at. And share this live out to all your social media platforms.
They're not there yet, that I can tell you. But they're getting better. But you need borders. You got to have borders in a country, or you don't have a country. And now we have a border that the likes of which this country has never seen before, and people respect us for it. And with the help of our war fighters, we're decimating the savage drug cartels that poison our people. 200,000 people, maybe more than that, died last year because of what came into our country. Through an open border policy where 25 million people poured into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. They came from prisons. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They were drug dealers. They were bad people. 11,388 were murderers, half of which committed more than one murder. They let them into our country. We're getting them the hell out. We're getting them out. We're getting them out fast. Is that okay with you? Yes, right? I have no doubt. Got to get them out. Just an unforced era. And we're also straightening out our cities. You know, Washington, D.C., our beautiful capital, was a killing mess. People getting killed all the time. It was very high crime. And we sent in our National Guard. Again, great people. And I don't say they were totally politically correct. That's okay. And now it's a very safe. Now it's considered a very safe. It took 12 days. We got 1,700 people, career criminals, many of which came in through Biden's open border, and they infiltrated our nation's capital. And we had a very unsafe capital, but for years before that, it was very unsafe. Now it's as safe as there is anywhere in the country. You can have your daughter, your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend walk right in through the middle. Nobody's going to touch them. The crime is down to almost nothing. It's a whole different ballgame. It took literally 12 days, but let's give us a month to do it really. We had it drum tight, and it's a beautiful thing. And our people in the service, and you know, people don't care. If we send in our military, if we send in our National Guard, if we send in Space Command, they don't care who the hell it is. They just want to be safe. And we have safe cities now. We're starting in Memphis. And Memphis was a disaster. It's been there. They've been there for 2 weeks, and it's a whole different series. Crime is less than half, and within a month it'll be gone. getting rid of all the bad ones. And we're going to go into Chicago. We're going to go into our cities. We're going to clean them out. We're going to straighten them out. And we're going to have safe cities because you want to protect safe cities. We're going to have beautiful, safe cities. And it's happening very quickly and very easily, actually. It's easy for us. It's hard for them. And we have to have a little more help. It doesn't matter, really. We can do as we want to do, but it would be nice to have more help from some of the Democrat governors that don't mind. In Chicago, 2 weeks ago, 4 people murdered, 11 people shot. This weekend, it was like terrible, much worse than that. And then we have a governor that stands up and says, oh, it's wonderful. It's not wonderful. And what we're doing is we're going to make it totally safe. It'll be very safe very soon. And we're doing that with all of our cities that are troubled. We have cities that are troubled. We can't have cities that are troubled. And we're sending in our National Guard. And if we need more than the National Guard, we'll send more than the National Guard because we're going to have safe cities. We're not going to have people killed in our cities. And whether people like that or not, that's what we're doing. And you've been watching what our missiles do to boats and ships and submarines. How about the submarine? They said, no, that was just fishing. The radical left Democrats said, well, it was a submarine, but they were just fishing. Submarines don't go fishing, do they? You know more about submarines than I do. You have a beauty parked outside, actually. This is a submarine, and you know what it was designed for? Transporting drugs, and it got hit. But each one of those vessels that we hit kill, on average, 25,000 people, American people, every single year. They kill, each one of them kill 25,000 people. So we have to stop it, and we have stopped it. And I want to thank Pete for having the courage to do it. And believe me, people are very honored that you do it. 25,000 people for each boat. For many years, the drug cartels have waged war in America, and at long last, we're finally waging war on the cartels. We're waging war like they've never seen before. And we're going to win that battle. We're winning it already. The sea, I mean, the only problem is nobody wants to go into the sea anymore. Even the fishing boats, they say, let's take a pass. But they don't want that. But we're knocking them out one by one. And very importantly, we've almost stopped completely the drugs coming in by sea. And now we'll stop the drugs coming in by land. That's going to be very easy. More importantly, we're ending wars. We're ending wars all over this planet. And as you know, and I said before, I ended 8 wars in 8 months, the most of any president in history. No president that we know has ever ended any war. A lot of them go into wars. But this includes Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran. You saw that. How about those B-2 bombers? They went in there, they took out that nuclear.
So if you're wondering what you see me doing is taking notes, because on Kick and Twitch, I drop clips from the live, because Twitch, it just brings it where you could do the live. You go to the live, you could go to the section and clip it. And then I upload those clips to Facebook, Instagram, and X. And I drop the link to those clips on Truth Social. Yeah, and on Truth Social. That's why I said I'm thinking about, because to go live on Twitter, you actually got to pay $10 a month to go live on X. So I was thinking about getting into that, maybe paying them $10 a month and streaming the live to X as well. I'm not sure. But get in that chat section, man, and hit a follow no matter where you at, because we're actually streaming to 6 different platforms at one time simultaneously. We're streaming to Kick, Twitch, and Rumble horizontally, and streaming to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube on vertical. So please hit that follow button and share this live out to all your social media platforms. I appreciate you.
Your capability. Iran would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 months. Not anymore. Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, that was going on for 35 years. Big, horrible war. And just this month, we ended the war in Gaza, in the Middle East. We ended the war in the Middle East. Nobody thought it was possible. And we also just signed a deal in Malaysia between a war that was just starting, Cambodia and Thailand. So we saved millions and millions of lives. And I did it mostly verbally. We didn't have to get you involved. When we don't get you involved, that's a good thing. We don't want you to get involved. If I can avoid you getting involved, if I have an ability to do things that maybe other people don't, or we see things, but we stopped a lot of those wars based on trade and tariffs and penalties, and you know they're getting all ready to fight, and then we tell them, no more trading with the United States. We're putting tariffs on your nation, et cetera, et cetera. It's called national security for us, but it's really national security for the whole world. And everywhere we go, America is actually making peace, and it's peace through strength. When they look at this, when they look at you people, they say, we're not going to mess around with them. So it's very important. After years of crippling inflation, back home we had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Energy costs are down. You know, energy costs are way down. Gasoline prices are way down. Grocery prices are way down. We have a little problem with beef. We're going to get that down very quickly, but the prices are way down. Mortgage rates are down despite having an incompetent head of the Fed. I call him too late. He's always too late.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, no matter what platform you're on. We're actually streaming to 6 platforms. We're actually streaming to Kick, Twitch, and Rumble, and horizontal, and we're streaming to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube in vertical. So no matter where you at, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, get in that chat section, let me know if you agree or disagree with this content, and please share this live to all your social media platforms. How many of you guys knew that the Democrats voted 13 times to keep the government shut down?
He's too late in
My girl, Damaris, he said, is this real? He is serious. Yes, this is real. This was yesterday. This is a speech. So these are all soldiers on a ship that's in Tokyo. That's where this speech was yesterday on a ship. All of these soldiers are in Tokyo. This is on a ship that's in Tokyo. He's speaking to U.S. soldiers. A lot of people don't even know that the Democrats voted 13 times to keep the government shut down.
Lowering interest rates. I call him Jerome Too Late Powell. But despite having a totally grossly incompetent guy, we blow through it because we're doing so well. Inflation has been defeated, and workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years, and that includes your wages. They're rising in the fastest pace. The workers, I'm not talking about the rich people. Rich people, everyone's doing well. Everyone in our country is now doing well. My first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had an economy like nobody has seen before. Now we're doing it again, but this time actually it's going to be much bigger, much stronger. I told you $17 trillion, but it's going to be $21 trillion. And that's numbers that have never been heard of before. Much bigger than any other country in the world by literally $16 trillion. It's amazing. The sailors on this ship sacrificed so much for our country, and the president, and I will tell you, the president standing right up here loves you. I respect you and I love you. And I'm giving everything I have to make sure that when you get home, you find an America that is safe and proud and sovereign and free. One service member who reminds us that we're working for you and for everybody and for our country is Chief Warrant Officer Will Hightower, who serves on the George Washington in the all-important DEC department. Do you know what the DEC department is? I have no idea. But they do. In April 2024, Will sailed away from Norfolk, leaving behind his...
Yo, my guy said, do you have any idea what that is? Hey, yo, this dude is hilarious, yo. I swear, man, he's hilarious.
The ship sacrificed so much for our country, and the president, and I will tell you, the president standing right up here loves you. I respect you and I love you. And I'm giving everything I have to make sure that when you get home, you find an America that is safe and proud and sovereign and free. One service member who reminds us that we're working for you and for everybody and for our country is Chief Warrant Officer Will Hightower, who serves on the George Washington in the all-important DEC department. Do you know what the DEC department is? I have no idea. But they do. In April 2024, Will sailed away from Norfolk, leaving behind his wonderful wife, Megan, their precious 6-year-old daughter, and their 1-year-old son. In the past 12 months, he has only been home for 3 weeks total, 3 weeks. An enormous sacrifice, very tough on the family, but an experience everyone on the ship really knows very well. In February, Will's tour will come to an end, and he will finally be going home just in time for his daughter's birthday. So, Will, I want to thank you together with all of those people that go through the same thing. I want to really thank, where is Will? Is Will around here? Where is Will? Wow, look at him. But these are good-looking people here. That's great, Will. How does it feel? Good? That's great. Feels amazing. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. See, in the old days, I'd say, does your wife still love you? But I don't do that anymore, you know? Does your wife still love you? Yes. Do you still love your wife? Every day. That's good. Okay, that's good. So that's good. Great. Beautiful. Say hello to your daughter, right? And your wife. And just in conclusion, every sailor here today inherits a legacy of valor and grit and glory unmatched in the long history of mankind's voyage on the seas. It's a voyage like nobody's ever had like you have. For 2.5 centuries, America's Navy has preserved the vision of our first commander-in-chief, who gave this ship its storied name, its righteous soul, and its timeless motto, first in war, first in peace. Very famous phrase, George Washington. After 250 years, that is exactly what our country is today. It's first in war, first in peace, first in wealth, first in power, first in science, first in spirit, and first in freedom. And we went through 4 bad years, but now America will always be first again. If you have the right person up here, if you have somebody that understands a lot of different subjects, we're going to be bigger, better, stronger, and more important, really, frankly, to the world. Japan respects us. If you see what's going on all over the world, they're respecting us again. They respect us like never before. The treatment they gave me all over as I go around to different countries is great, but it's really a respect for me, but it's a bigger respect for our country. They respect our country again. They didn't respect our country just a few years ago. From Boston Harbor to Hampton Roads, and from Caribbean Sea to the Red Sea, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and from the Persian Gulf to what is now known as the Gulf of America. Isn't it nice? They say it now routinely. I heard the news today. The Gulf of America, weather is wonderful. They don't say it with a smile. It's called the Gulf of America. How did that happen, right? And it took me, you know, for many years I said, why is it called the Gulf of Mexico when we seem to have the shore? Well, we do. We have 92% of the shoreline. So I said, you know, when we make it back, not if, when, too big to rig. We made it too big to rig. I said, get out and vote. Too big to rig. Make it that way. I said, I'm going to change it. And one of the first things I did is I changed it. Nobody could even fight it. They tried. We got sued all over the place. We won every suit. And it's now officially the Gulf of America. Isn't that nice? But our sailors have written honor, greatness, and triumph into the pages of history. What you're doing is incredible, and it's an incredible time for our country. On gun decks and flight decks and torpedo rooms and cockpits, the men and women of the Navy have poured out their blood and sweat and tears to defend the land of the free and the home of the brave. They've crossed icy channels, leapt from burning wreckage, stormed into frigid waters, soared into deadly skies, and laid down their lives to ensure the survival of liberty. Now, all of us here today carry on that noble mission, and no matter what challenge comes our way, no matter what danger we face, we hoist our great American flag very, very high. We race into the waves, and we rally to that immortal battle cry of the American sailor, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, right? Together with our incredible Japanese allies and all of our allies all over the world, we stand strong, we stand proud, we will stand taller than we've ever stood before, and we will be freer and braver and more brilliant than ever before. And we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. And I want to thank everybody at the USS George Washington and the U.S. forces. Japan, God bless our military. God bless Japan. God bless the United States of America. And God bless our Navy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That like button, hit that subscribe. Salute to our Navy, man. Salute to everybody who's ever served for our country, man. Nothing but the utmost respect. I definitely appreciate you, man. And I'm going to say it for everybody who hasn't said thank you, and thank you to your family as well. We, all of us Americans, appreciate you. If nobody has said it to you, I will. Check this out.
Doing in the district. I know we appreciate it, and more importantly, I know your constituents appreciate it. I know I've been standing at this podium with Speaker Johnson and House leadership for weeks now. And every time we have said the same thing. Republicans voted to keep the government open. Democrats voted to shut it down. Period. It is that simple. This week, more than any other week, the consequences become impossible to ignore. As of yesterday, more than 10,000 flights have been delayed because of staffing shortages. By the end of this week, nearly 2 million paychecks will be missed by Americans. And by Saturday, 42 million Americans will lose their SNAP benefits. Let that sink in. 42 million Americans will lose their SNAP benefits this Saturday because Democrats want to use them as leverage. This is real pain, real fear, and real consequences. And Democrats are using that as political leverage. And leverage for what? Ask them this. Leverage for what? To force through illegal benefits for illegal immigrants to the tune of $1.5 trillion? 42, they'd rather do that and put 42 million Americans at risk of losing their SNAP benefits. That's what they're choosing. That's what they're choosing. Let that sink in for a minute. This isn't leadership. This is cruel and disgusting, and it's cruelty disguised as politics. Even the president of the largest federal workers union, and I don't know if you noticed that, but he doesn't exactly always cheer for Republicans, but this gentleman is actually begging the Democrats to do the right thing and end the shutdown. While Democrats posture in front of the cameras, Republicans are actually out in their districts working. Just take a look at the video that we've been playing all morning, right? Don't let the facts get in the way of the good story. Republicans, like the colleagues you see behind me, have been in their district working for the American people who are suffering from this Democratic Schumer-led shutdown. You will see Republicans volunteering at food banks, Republicans supporting rural hospitals, Republicans cleaning up national parks, and Republicans helping people in real ways. Republicans believe in solutions, not stunts. We believe in serving the American people, not using them. So while Democrats try to turn American hardship into political currency, Republicans are working to reopen the government, to restore paychecks, and bring stability back to American families. Because this isn't about leverage, it's about people. And we are here to serve. It's about time the Democrats remember who they serve. Thank you.
All right, questions? Go ahead first. Go ahead.
Earlier this week, President Trump floated running for president again in 2028. Are you comfortable with those comments, and you're a constitutional lawyer, that violating?
Well, there is the 22nd Amendment. I spoke with the president about an hour ago. It's late in the evening in Japan. He's working around the clock, serving the American people. He doesn't stop. Talk about someone who works around the clock. And as Chairman Pfluger mentioned a moment ago, and as we've reiterated in here so many times, you're looking at the split screen because under President Trump, the Republican Party has delivered. I mean, you're talking about reducing taxes, reducing regulations, cutting fraud, waste, and abuse, ended the border crisis, ending the crime crisis. resolving conflicts, wars around the globe, and working on these amazing trade agreements. It's been a great run. But I think the president knows, and he and I have talked about the constrictions of the Constitution, as much as so many of the American people lament that. The Trump 2028 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced, and he has a good time with that, trolling the Democrats whose hair is on fire about the very prospect. But I do believe that we've got 3 extraordinary years ahead of us, and the 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be an incredible thing. And I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years to do that, as you all know, to allow all the states to ratify what 2/3 of the House and 3/4 of the states would approve. So I don't see the path for that, but I can tell you that we are not going to take our foot off the gas pedal. We're going to deliver for the American people, and we've got a great run ahead of us. We'll have 4 strong years. Yeah, second round. Yeah.
The White House was able to find funding for the military, for WIC, for farmers. Should the White House now be able to find some funding for the SNAP program if they've done it for all these other ones?
They certainly tried. I mean, one of the reasons that this shutdown has not yet been as painful as it might otherwise have been is because the president is bent over backwards, the administration. Think of it this way. The White House, the executive branch in a shutdown, has a large control panel full of dials. Under the Obama administration, they turned those dials, the pain dials, to 10 immediately. You remember it was so egregious to us. Speaking of our veterans, I mean, they put yellow crime tape around the World War II memorial so that people who would serve their country could not go visit the memorial. They wanted it to hurt. The Democrats have shown, and they've said in their own words, this is leverage. It gets better for them every day. They don't mind inflicting pain on the American people if they can somehow get some sort of political points out of it. The Republican Party is the opposite. And President Trump has proven that. Every day of this shutdown, he has tried to move funds around to find unobligated funds to cover the bases, to get the troops paid in the middle of October, and to make sure that WIC funding is not resolved. You know how he's getting women, infants, and children funding done? They did some very creative legal research I've quite admired. They found a statute in the 1930s that they could use to say that some of the tariff revenue could be used to cover nutrition because so much of that was transported over the border. So they've done some creative, amazing things to mitigate, to lessen the pain as much as possible. We've been out all over the country, all these Republicans. I mean, Craig Goldman flew in here to do this press conference with us, but he's been in Texas serving his constituents. Stephanie Bice been in Oklahoma. Harriet Hageman's been out west. You got Burgess Owens out Utah. They've been serving their constituents, and August Pfluger, but they came in to help us articulate what's going on. All that effort has mitigated the pain, but we're running out of the resources. We want to fund SNAP, but they did the legal research and they could not find a 1930s era statute to bootstrap that one. The contingency fund was approved by Congress, and when the Democrats voted against the CR, they voted against the ability of us to use that money. And so 42 million people are going to suffer because they're playing political games. There's nothing that the White House.
Why nobody talking about that? How they had money set up to take care of this, but the moment that the Democrats voted against certain things, that money is not usable now. Why are they not bringing these things up?
House has run out of it. They have all the pain dials turned back to just a 0 or a 1 as best they can. But when you're out of resources, they go all the way up. And it's out of their hands. It's out of our hands, and that's why we're so frustrated. You don't see the happy warrior Steve Scalise pound the podium very often. But we're angry about this. We're frustrated. We should be, because it's wrong for the people, and all of you should be angry about it as well. And I know many of you are. Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. So you were listening in there to GOP leaders as they were giving an update.
And that's what I would love to know. Why people are not talking about these facts, about how the Republicans, no matter how you feel. I thought I came from a generation of allow actions to talk, because feelings could change. Never make a permanent decision over a temporary situation. In other words, all these Democrats tell us to hate these Republicans, right? Everything he doing is to try to put more money in my pocket. Why do you want me to hate the person that's trying to put money in my, you know, the way Donald Trump is setting it up for you to have your own company, your own corporation, and be successful. The Democrats want you to go work for somebody. Donald Trump wants you to work for yourself. That's what Donald Trump wants. He wants you to work for yourself and create generational wealth for your bloodline. That's what he wants from you. He wants you to create generational wealth. And these Democrats, they keep voting to keep the shutdown going. Why nobody making you aware of these parts of the situation? Why nobody telling you that Democrats voted 13 times to keep the government shutdown going? Imagine that. They told you that the Republicans are doing this on their own, but that's all lies. If I remember the numbers correctly, it's only 53 Republicans up there. You need 60. So they need a minimum of at least 5 Democrats to agree with them before any Democrat can do anything. But they're telling you that the Republicans are running everything. Ain't you guys tired of them lying to you? Because look, these are the actual facts. These are the facts. Never mind what they're telling you. These are the actual facts.
But there are simple facts about the Democrat shutdown that everybody needs to recognize. Here's 4 of them. First of all, we have to have Democrats to reopen the government. You know that in the Senate, it requires 60 votes to break an impasse. Wait, hang it on, Lily, hold it real here. Keep it close to the podium. I want everybody to see this, okay? We're gonna make it simple. I had my 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you gotta have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the
So that right there in itself, them telling you that the Republicans are doing this on their own is a lie. Now you tell me, if you're in a relationship and your woman lied to you, do you not question everything she has to say after that? Or if you're a woman and your man lies to you, don't you question everything he has to say after that? So why aren't you questioning them about the lies? What's with all these lies? Why are you not making me aware that you actually 13 times you had the opportunity to end this government shutdown? And all 13 times you voted to keep this government shutdown going. Why these Democrats ain't making you aware of that part?
counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. Must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. And what they're demanding as a ransom to reopen the government are some really crazy things. They want to restore $200 billion in health benefits paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens and non-citizens. We can't do that. They want billions of dollars in wasteful programs to be returned.
Why do you want us to spend our tax-earned dollars, our American tax dollars, on non-American issues? Why do you want us to spend our American tax dollars on non-Americans? Why do you want us to spend our American tax dollars on non-American soil? I wonder why nobody asking them these questions. Why must our money leave our country, and why must our money be attached to all this LGBTQ stuff? Why? Why are you guys so against spending money on American soil, on American issues for American citizens? Get in that chat section, man. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this content, man. You know, the name of the channel is 5/5. We're actually streaming to 6 different platforms. We're streaming to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube on vertical. And we're streaming to Rumble, Kick, and Twitch in horizontal. So please, man, hit a follow or hit that subscribe button no matter where you at. Share this live out to all your social media platforms. Put this live on your text message threads. Put it on your Facebook, your IG. Put it on all your social media platforms. Tell everybody at work about this channel. This is a news station by the people, for the people, man. You know, we take this thing serious. We're not out here playing games trying to mislead the people. We're making you aware that these big-time corporations are actually the ones misleading us. And we're tired of it. We're here to spread the truth, defeat the lies. The line is drawn between positive and negative. What side are you on? I appreciate everybody who pulled up. We about to wrap this live up, man. We've been live for 2 hours. I did a live this morning, but tomorrow morning we will be live. I'm going to try to pop off before 11:30 a.m. But we're going to do a morning stream and an evening stream. So make sure you hit that notification bell, turn them to all, or turn them to instant if you on Rumble. But share this live out, get in the chat section, man. Make people aware. Because even if you agree or disagree, we want people to create conversation, create communication. Communication is key. Step up your awareness. I appreciate you guys, man. Have a great, awesome night, man. Salute to everybody. We out of here, YouTube. All right, man. We out of here, guys.